These are the best performing REITs. First off, read this disclaimer carefully. We will look at a type of real estate investment trust that many people don't think about, and that is data centers. You can see here the performance from the 52-week low and the 52-week high, massively outperforming the S&P 500. So these are extremely high-performing REITs. And, data centers, as you probably are very well aware of, it's a major trend. So the company we will look at is called CyrusOne, a trusted partner to the world's leading companies. Through a network of more than 45 data centers in key North American, European, South American, and Asian markets, CyrusOne enables the computing needs for the businesses that change the world. And of course, after the lockdowns, the demand for these services have just increased. Okay, so here is some more information about their history. Since 2001, CyrusOne competes at the forefront of the data center industry as a respected leader and innovator. CyrusOne's portfolio now includes more than 40 enterprise-class facilities across 3 continents and more than 4 million square feet of total net rentable square footage. First, let's look a bit at the seasonality. So these are the percentage of months in which Cone closed higher than it opened between 2013 and 2020. So you can see that September, October, this period it tends to be a bit weaker, but you see that there's substantial strength there in spring and towards the later part of the year. So that's the seasonality. Let's now look at the charts. So this here in front of us is all the history we have for CyrusOne. Cone, of course, is the ticker, weekly data points. One of the first things that really just jumps at me here is this cycle patterns. So we have these rather clear cycle patterns here. Cycle patterns are never like perfect, but this is very close. These are very consistent cycle patterns. And based on the cycle pattern analysis, you could certainly make a very strong case that we are in a declining phase of the cycle, which means that there could be more shorting opportunities. If you look a bit further out, there could be a very good entry opportunity for long, bullish positions on the horizon, because it's very clear that this one moves in cycles, but something that you need to be aware of is that because it's in an uptrend, it means that there's more the rising phase of the cycle will make more gains than the declining cycle will lose. So that's a very key thing about cycle patterns, because there's a very clear uptrend. So yeah, this is very nice and bullish. Within this entire time frame, we have a 237% gain. That's pretty darn good. If you look here at RSI, it doesn't really like to be overbought or oversold. You see here that oversold levels on the RSI have been, very good entry opportunities. There is some reliability to overbought levels, but as you can see, it can be overbought for longer periods. Hence, it's not that reliable as a trading, as a buy or sell signal. We see the accumulation distribution is increasing, so there is which is a very nice bullish sign, and there's a 70% positive correlation with S&P 500. So let's now go to the daily data points. Of course, the great thing about the REIT is that not only do you get here the gains of the asset going up, but you also are paid very regular dividends, which makes it just a spectacular REIT. If you look here, let's look a bit at the RSI. You see that it likes to be within the RSI zone. It doesn't like to be overbought or oversold, but it has clearly a much stronger tendency to be overbought than oversold, which makes sense given that there's been a pretty clear uptrend. Because of these cycle patterns, it means that the moving averages are thrown around like ragdolls. So you can see that there's a lot of golden crosses and death crosses all over the place. Hence, you can of course use moving averages, and there is some consistency here, but they will be thrown around a lot more by these assets that move in major cycle patterns. But as an example, you can see here throughout this rally, the 20-day moving average was a clear support level here as well. Yeah, here as well, a little bit of a dip here to the 50-day moving average. But yeah, you can see that there are some of the faster moving averages have been more consistent as support resistance levels. The 200-day was quite consistent over here, but then we get into these major cycle patterns, and then it just gets thrown around. So much that the algorithms that look at these moving averages, they will just categorize them as less reliable. Even though clearly, I mean, there is some interaction here with the 200-day moving average. It's just that when it is thrown around like a ragdoll, it just changes things. It changes things, and that's when you, as an example, will need to look at like cycle patterns. Okay, let's look here at Finviz. So options are available. It is also shortable. Good performance. Though due to this cyclical nature, it certainly is one of those where you want to be a bit more active when it comes to market timing. What I of course might like to look at is the analyst price targets. So the average analyst price target is $88-ish, and the stock is currently trading at 71.44 cents. So the price target is 23% above the current level. That's of course bullish. Saks.com, they do have a number 3 hold, a D value score, B growth, and F momentum. The dividend is almost 3%, 8 billion in market cap. So to sum up my take here on CyrusOne, long term I find it very hard to become bearish. It's part of a theme that is, has a lot of momentum. The thing that we quite clearly saw is that this REIT, it definitively moves in these cycle patterns. They were very consistent. There's good reason to think that there is a bit more downside left in the declining part of the cycle, but there could be a very good entry opportunity for bullish positions on the horizon. So definitively want to have on your radar. So great performance. You are paid a dividend as well. I mean, the analyst price target was also really good. So there's a lot of reasons to be bullish. It is just that there is reason to think that there will just be a better entry opportunity on the horizon. Because when we see here that when it pulls back, at least the prior pullbacks on the cycles, they have been deeper than what we have seen so far. Whatever you do, of course, don't fight the trend, and may the trend be with you.